pronouns.
Okay, great. Thanks, Thelma. Thanks for having me. So my name is Courtney Thomas. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm currently the Director of Communications for WREN, the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network here in South Carolina.
Yay. Bre, you can go next if you want.
Hello, ladies, and congratulations, Thelma, for joining 1K Women. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I'm sorry I'm in the car, but I am Bre Maxwell. I am from South Carolina, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And my title is I am the principal and CEO of Indigo Consulting Firm, which is a political advocacy, campaign management, and public relations firm in South Carolina.
Yamica?
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my name is Yamica Outen. So I don't have a pronoun, but anywho, I live here in Columbia, South Carolina. Customer service supervisor for Verizon Wireless, or Verizon for the past 22 years.
Okay. So we're going to start with Bre first because Bre has to get off. So I'll tell you a little bit about Bre. Bre Maxwell, and like she said, she's the principal CEO of Indigo Consulting LLC, a political consulting firm based in South Carolina. She is widely known for her practical, common sense approach to political strategy issues, advocacy, and civic engagement. She is committed to making a change in South Carolina through the political process. Bre holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science with a pre-law concentration from South Carolina State University. So, and then I'll just keep going on and I'll introduce everybody. And Bre, you can jump in and we'll talk about the topic of student loans and then I'll let you go, okay? Yamica Outen, she's a married mother of 3 and a grandmother of 3 with 1 on the way. Woo woo. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta sorority, undergrad from the University of South Carolina. She has a bachelor degree in sociology. She also holds a master's degree in human resource management and business and administration. She's currently employed with Verizon for 22 years as a customer service supervisor. She enjoys traveling and meeting new people. Woo-hoo.
Hey, Soror.
Hey, Sora.
Courtney Thomas, a director of communications for WREN. Am I correct, Courtney? Yes. Courtney Thomas is a graduate of Furman University with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Conceptions in both American and African diasporic cultures of women and gender and sexuality studies. Courtney previously served as an assistant director of admissions at Furman University. So, Bre, we are here today to just talk about student loan and debt. Can you please tell us how that affects you, Bre?
Yes, I have a couple stories about that. So recently I was purchasing a new home. So I started the process for the new home in October and I should have closed December the 4th. But because of my student loans, the process was drawn out. So I had to prove to the mortgage loan company that I would be able to pay on this new mortgage for this new house, as well as the student loans. So that was a long, tedious process while also selling my other house. So that's one way student loans has affected me. And then, in a lot of instances with Black women being the oldest in the family, you are obligated to come back and take care of your parents or your siblings or your nieces and your nephews. So because of that, I've had to put more money into taking care of my family and not putting money towards student loans. So those are 2 current ways that, student loans and having to pay them in this economy has affected me. So I've had to put more money towards my family. I finally closed on the new house. I closed in January. It took a whole lot longer than it should have. But it also has messed me up with trying to purchase because I'm also trying to get an investment property as well at the beach. So it's just, just those little tidbits and little aggravating things. Like you have the money, but yeah, you have to go through this whole credit process on top of the whole student loan. So that's how it has affected me.
Correct. what would it mean if we were to get this petition signed and get it to the president and the VP? What would that mean to
I
you?
mean, a lot to me, because that's $50,000 that I don't have to worry about. And if they would just eliminate all of them, that'd be great. But that's asking for a lot. But 50,000, that's a big help, because that reduces a whole lot of debt for me.
Mhm. Correct. All right, Bree, thank you so much for your time. You
No
have a
problem.
great event, and we hope to see you soon back on the panel.
Thank you. Bring me back on. Y'all have a good evening.
All righty, Bree. Thank you.
Bye. No problem.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So, Yamica, those questions would go to you as well. How does student loan affect you being a woman of color in South Carolina? Um, I know you've done a lot of things here. Can you elaborate a little bit about that on how student loan has affected you?
They definitely affected me. One of the things that I'm going to start out with is education. The education behind student loans. I went to the University of South Carolina straight out of high school, and student loans were being thrown at me. Coming from a single parent home, mother, growing up on welfare, low income. And so, going into college, having enough grants and other money to pay, for most of my tuition. But then, there were still the student loans. And it's like, it was just like, oh, you qualify this, you qualify for that, just sign the paper and you get it. And, and at the time I started college, I had already had 2 kids. So I was a single mother. I had one child, and, the other 2 came along while I was in college. But, for me, I looked at student loans as a way to help me survive at that time, not really truly understanding the impacts that it would have on me later in life. I was fortunate enough back in 2006, I did purchase my first home. I had the student loans on there, but there was a process, as the first young lady was stating about purchasing a home. There was a process that I had to go through to prove that, with my student loan debt at that time, would I be able to maintain a mortgage as well as my other bills in conjunction with my student loans. And, went through all of that, being able to do that, got approved for my home. Well, the challenge that I've recently ran into in regards to my student loans is that, my husband and I, we just purchased a second home. Well, unfortunately, because of how high my student loan debt has gotten because of all of the interest that has accrued. Now, granted, I graduated from undergrad back in 1997. Graduate school 2009, and then again in 2012. And along the way, even in grad school, even with what my job was offering for tuition assistance, I still had to take out loans as well, because at this point now I have 3 kids, so couldn't afford to pay for it out of pocket, so I had to take out loans. And so in purchasing the second home, because of my student loan debt, I didn't even qualify to go on the housing application with my husband, because when they factored in, the debt that I had versus my income, even though right now we're kind of like in this stage to where we're not having to pay the student loans back because of the CARES Act, but that's still a debt that's on my credit report. And, at some point, we're going to have to start paying those back. So then in looking at my student loan balance versus my income and all my other bills, my husband and I couldn't even purchase the house together. It had to go strictly in his name. So that has definitely been an impact for me.
Wow. So the same question again. It's terrible, how nobody in that student loan office told you this would affect you in the end. They just let you sign that paperwork. Am I correct?
Yes, let me sign the paperwork. And, and even to this day, I mean, like I said, this was back in, I started at USC straight out of high school, graduated high school, June 1992, went straight to college, August of 1992. You're talking about a young girl who's never had really nothing in life, coming from a single parent home, and you're getting thousands and thousands of dollars,
Correct.
at one time. And all you're thinking about, oh, okay, I got all this money. The average 18-year-old, you're getting five, six, seven, $8,000 refund checks.
Mm.
Money you've never seen at that age. And again, yeah, you have the promissory notes that you had to sign, but again, the educational piece behind it, as far as the long-term effects, it wasn't there. I was just happy, like, oh, I got this money. I could really help take care of my kids. I can get my own place. I can get me a car. Just not thinking about, okay, at some point, this money is going to continue to build up. And at some point, you're going to have to pay this money back in conjunction with whatever other bills that's going to come, along the way. So yeah, definitely no education on that part.
Correct. I totally understand. 1992. Wow, you've been in college fresh out of high school, right?
Yes.
Right. I waited. I'm from New York, where unfortunately I don't have student loan debt, but I have a lot of folks around me that do have student loan debt, and that's why I'm here today with 100 Women Strong, because this is terrible. We need to fix this. Um, my husband, prime example. I married him, and he has student loan debt, so you know the process. So, yep. But we're gonna keep going. Courtney, glad you could join us. I know it's not a lot of folks on this. This is actually my first town hall. We built for it. It will grow more and more. You ladies will always be welcome to come back as panelists. Um, Courtney, same question to you. Um, do you have student loan debt?
Yes, I do have student loan debt, and it is something that I am hyper aware of at all times. So it's so interesting just like hearing Bre and Yamica, Yamica,
Yamika.
Yamica, great. Like hearing the two of them talk, like our stories sound so similar, even though we're all like very, I think, different people. Like this has impacted us in a very similar way. So I recently purchased my first home. July is actually my 1 year anniversary of purchasing my home, and going through the process by myself as a 27-year-old was very difficult because I got in contact with a great realtor and she hooked me up with a great mortgage broker. But the second they looked at my loan history, they said, "Oh, you have a lot of student loan debt." And I remember this phone call so vividly because I was waiting days on end to get approved for a loan so I could buy this house. That I had my heart set on this one place. And it was just such a like wrenching thing to hear them like their shock on the phone, like this mortgage like professional saying, "You have a lot of debt." But I also thought, among my friend group, my like number is not the worst. So if I had a hard time like getting over the hurdle of purchasing a home and like having that reaction from a mortgage broker, I can only imagine what some of my friends are dealing with. But that's the thing about student loan debt, right? Because it robs you of choices. So I made the decision with my realtor's advice to buy a smaller home than what I could afford. Like technically, with my salary, I could afford more, but with these student loans on my back and realizing that I need to be a little bit more conservative in what I can afford now, I made the decision to do a little bit less. So there are things that like I want and things that are part of the American dream that we've been taught to want that are locked away from us. And there are options that are stolen from us because of the student loan debt. But I'll also say that, you know, I've heard even from family members when I talk about this issue, oh, well, you knew what this was, or, oh, well, I paid mine back, shouldn't you too? And that to me is so, it's so defeatist, because I grew up in a world where you had to get a bachelor's degree. There was no discussion about it, because the value of a degree has declined in like in the years since, I mean, maybe the past 20, 30 years. So my bachelor's degree gets me almost as far as a high school degree did for someone who's a little bit older than me. So I'm at this point in my professional career where I'm thinking, okay, I need to get an advanced degree of some kind. I need a master's, I need a PhD, I need something. But I know with the amount of debt that I have now, it is not the smartest thing for me to do to accrue more debt, even though professionally that is something that I need to do to advance in any way. So I feel kind of stuck, and it is because of this debt. And student loan debt has also influenced my job choices as well. So I only really understood the level of debt that I would have about my junior year of college. So I finally realized, oh, you're going to leave higher education, you're going to go out to the real world, and you're going to have to pay this off. So I graduated from college early. I had an extra semester that I just decided not to do because I knew that's one more semester I wouldn't have to pay for. I sped through my coursework and finished a half a year early and decided to start working. But also the job that I took was in higher ed and in the nonprofit space, because I knew that there are loan forgiveness programs for that type of work. So if you work in higher ed, some kind of public service, if you work for, I believe it's 7 to 10 years in a specific field, you can get loan forgiveness. But there's also a catch to that too, right? It has to be 7 years of consistent service, and it has to be in a particular field that they approve. And then we also found out a couple of years ago, there was a report that a bunch of the people who were applying for loan forgiveness were being denied. And so this loan forgiveness program that I've been taught about for years is now something that I guess isn't fulfilling what it said it would. So the best solution for me is $50K of loan forgiveness. And that is just something that I've come to very recently. So I'm so glad this conversation is happening.
Good. I am too. I don't even know what to say. Y'all ladies have touched my heart, my soul with these stories, because this is how it is for not just us, women of color, women, period, right? So it is 6:20 now. If you ladies want to hop off, you can. I have no more folks here, of course, but I'll just start recording and let you get back your day.
Oh, and if anyone has any questions really quickly, Thelma, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we're good. Sorry.
Okay. So we're good. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I will reach you guys afterwards. And thank you for joining me. I will definitely reach back out to you guys. And you guys are great. You rock. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Don't worry, we'll
You
get started
too.
soon. Don't worry. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.